Good afternoon, Key Stage 4, and welcome back to another virtual assembly at the end of another very busy week. I hope you're all really well. I hope that your families are okay and you had a nice, productive week of online learning. The first thing we need to talk about today is some changes that we're making to Seneca. So in order to continue to support you guys with online learning, we've upgraded the Seneca package. So you will all, from now, have access to Seneca Premium. This gives you access to a much better or an even better package of work. There's lots of exam-style predicted papers on there. There's lots more of the hyper-learning courses. There's exclusive questions and explanation stuff on there that goes beyond what we've already been able to offer you. And there's also stuff on there about the best memory techniques and things that you can use to help you remember information. But the main reason we've done this, and the most important thing, is that it's meant that as departments, we've been able to link up the work that you're doing at home directly with our learning journeys. So that means that the things you'll be set to do or the things that you'll be doing will link directly to the work that you're doing for your GCSEs in school. In terms of how the update works, it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. All you do is log onto your Seneca account, and the first thing you'll notice is that the background should have changed from blue to a purple colour. Okay, if your background hasn't changed and it's still blue, you just need to log out and then log back in again. It's the same username, same password, exactly the same, but the background should go blue. If you have any problems, if it doesn't update, it's not going purple for whatever reason, get in contact with your tutor, get in contact with the school, and we will sort that out for you. Okay, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, there is only a week left of school time before we have our summer holidays. But that doesn't mean that we stop caring about you, that we stop thinking about you, and we stop looking after you. So I just want to point you in the direction of a couple of things, because just because you're not at school doesn't mean that things can't happen. It doesn't mean that we can't have a difficult time. So I want to point out a couple of resources that you can use if you're finding yourself in need of someone to talk to, or just in need of some help, really, and don't know where to go. So there's an online community called KS4, which is a mental wellbeing community designed specifically for young people and students. It's completely free, it's completely anonymous, and it's totally safe. And it runs 365 days a year, so it'll be running all the way through the summer holiday. You can chat online, it's kind of like text chat. There's articles on there written by young people about mental health and things that they've experienced. And there are kind of peer-to-peer support forums where you can help your peers out as well if you've got good advice, or if you want to hear from someone who might have been through a similar thing that you're experiencing. So that's www.kuth.com. Like I said, completely free, available the whole time. So if you're just feeling a little bit stuck or a little bit unsure, it's a great resource and somewhere that you can go. The other place just to point out, or remind you about, I suppose, is Childline. Numbers on there, so it's 0800 1111, and they are just an exceptional form or source of information and support. So if there's anything that you're really struggling with, anything you need help with, whether it's just a talk or something a bit more urgent, you can always call Childline to help you as well. So last week I told you about the ARC Sports Day 40,000 kilometer challenge. So the challenge was to see whether, as an academy chain, as the ARC Academy chain, whether we could move the full 40,000 kilometers that would take us around the outside of the Earth. And we've already done it. In fact, we've way more than done it. So 2,700 ARC students and teachers got involved. It's been 314 teams. And so far, they've completed a distance of over 75,000 kilometres. In fact, 75,323 kilometres, to be precise. So that means not only have we been the entire way around the Earth, 40,000 kilometres, we've also been the distance around Mars, 21,300 kilometres, and also around the Moon, which is nearly 11,000 kilometres. So the next stop, we're not stopping there. We're going to go and try and do the whole solar system. So the next stop is Venus, which is 38,025 kilometres. So it's still plenty of time to get involved. We've got a whole of next week to get joined in. So get yourself over to www.arcsportsdaychallenge.com or check out on Twitter with hashtag ArcSportsDayChallenge. Go on, sign up, track your distances and start contributing. Let's see if we can move Arc Bolton a little bit further up the leaderboard. Now, no doubt getting involved in all that exercise is going to make you hungry, so we've got another weekly recipe for you to try. So Miss Allen's final recipe is meatballs and sauce. So when you've finished your massive bike ride or your huge many-mile run, come back to the assembly, pause the video, get yourself in the kitchen and make something tasty to eat. So in this week's message, I want to talk to you about one of our key virtues, which has felt a little bit more difficult to maintain during the period of lockdown. And that's the virtue of gratitude. So I'll be completely honest with you, at various points over the last few months, I've had a pretty hard time feeling that grateful. The world felt like it was turned completely upside down overnight, and I have found myself frustrated by the restrictions and the changes that I've had to make to my normal life, which I enjoy very much. I'm normally a pretty optimistic person, but at times over the last few months, I've found myself more on edge, more impatient with other people, and definitely more likely to see the worst in a situation rather than the good. But the thing that I've discovered that's really helped me to deal most effectively when negative emotions kind of appear is to actively practice gratitude. So in the next minute or two, I'm just going to share with you 3 tips with how you can practice gratitude effectively to combat those negative feelings. So I'm going to tell you 2 things to avoid and 1 thing to try. So the first thing is, don't force it. So if you're struggling to feel grateful, please don't beat yourself up about it. It's absolutely fine to feel angry and upset sometimes. Research tells us that we're far more likely to be harsh and judgmental of ourselves than we are of other people. So remember that, be kind to yourself, and give yourself a break if you're finding it tough. The second thing is that being grateful doesn't mean ignoring your own negative feelings. Practicing gratitude isn't about comparing yourself endlessly to people who are in worse positions than you are. That only leads to feeling guilty and making things worse. There is always going to be someone in the world who's struggling more than you are or is in a worse situation. But that doesn't mean that your struggles are not important. So what should you do? Well, keep it really simple. So when you're feeling down, try making a short list of things that have made you smile or feel good throughout that day. And I don't mean those things that you feel like you should be grateful for, like having enough food to eat or having a roof over your head. Obviously, those are really important and you should be grateful for them, but that's not helpful here. What we're looking for are the little things that make a difference in your day. So, for example, my list for today could be something like making coffee in the morning, meeting students at school that I haven't seen in about 4 months, getting a text message from an old university friend, discovering that the carrots have finally started sprouting in the garden that I planted about 3 weeks ago, lighting the fire, my wife laughing at one of my terrible jokes, reading a piece of Miss Andrews' daily writing. These are all really small, everyday things, but they're real, and I'm grateful for each one of them. So next time you're feeling negative, I encourage you to do what I did, make a list, and then practice some gratitude. You might find you're surprised what you're grateful for.